Yeah, I hear ya.
No, you listen. You guys locked me out on the patio, and I politely tapped on the window.
Whoa, time out. With your gun.
Debatable.
The weekly hangover. This will probably hurt, but you'll be thirsty for more.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The Weekly Hangover. We have my man, my good friend, almost the best man in his wedding, but not quite. We have Kevin Filiberto again. Kevin, say what's up.
What's going on, everybody? And you don't need to downplay. You make yourself what you want to be in a wedding party. That's one of my philosophies. I was the last man in my buddy Nick's wedding, but I stood up, I saved the day, I ended up having the best seat, I ended up getting on camera more than anybody else. So if you were just watching that wedding, it looked like I was the best man, and that's really what mattered.
Well, that is all that's what mattered. Like, I was pretty close up to Jordan. He was the best man, but I feel like if he wasn't there, I feel like I had a shot. You know what I'm saying?
You were in the running, you were in the mix, you had a good showing, but it's tough to beat Jordan. I think he's been the best man in like a dozen weddings.
Well, mostly because he's the best looking in all the weddings.
That's true.
Like in probably 60%, I'd say 80% of the weddings that he's been in, minus Alyssa, he's better than everyone he's better looking than everyone out there.
He was definitely better looking than me at my wedding. It's totally okay.
For sure, man. How was your weekend?
It was good. I had this whole past week off, which was nice. The weather wasn't real good, so but this weekend was good. We just hung out with Liz and went to a little art festival and went downtown to Waynesboro and hung out around there for a little while. So it was nice. It was fun, relaxing, pretty relaxed, chill weekend.
You guys had some friends come into town, or what'd you tell me earlier?
Yeah, we did. We had a couple friends that they had a little boy like almost a year ago now, and so they came into town. So we got to see them one night, and then the other day we saw them Saturday night, and then Sunday we went down to Waynesboro to the art festival. So that was fun. It was cool. They went to Liberty, but we didn't know them at college, but we had fun hanging out, watching some football. They're big Liberty football fans, which is funny because it was Liberty's homecoming, and they got smacked up by this no-name college. So that was a good homecoming game.
Did you get to go to the game, or did you just like check the updates of it?
No, we watched it because it was on ESPN, 3, which is like the worst one, but we were still able to at least pull it up and watch it live, which was good. But, man, it was just so funny. They were playing this. They're called Kennesaw State. I have no idea where they're from, but they had a quarterback who averages like no more than 10 throws a game. They just run the ball, and Liberty couldn't do anything. It was crazy.
It's unfortunate. I mean, I don't really care.
Yeah. How was your weekend?
Dude, my weekend was pretty A+. So Friday night, hung out at the house. We had a couple people over, had Bay come over. We grilled out. We watched The Shining. Like, some of these people haven't seen it. Ben, my roommate, has never seen. Have you seen The Shining?
Yeah, I have.
So he wanted to watch it, and like he had a couple of his teacher friends over and his girlfriend, and just grilled out, hung out, watched the movie. It was cool. I've seen the movie 1,000 times, so it was still, pretty good. And then Saturday woke up pretty early and then went to Harrisonburg with Bay. We went and watched the JMU game, which I told you about, which was so much fun. But when we got there, we went straight to like where their where their group
tailgate.
No. It was where they had their college game day was. It was just like their general commons area, like outside,
Yeah.
And college game day was there, so we were probably like, I don't know, maybe 40 yards away, and the camera was panning the crowd, and I was making like a face like, and I was like, ah! And, trying to get on camera. So none of my friends told me if I was on camera or not, so probably not.
That's funny. Did you go to the game too, or did you just hang out for the college game day experience?
No, dude, we went to the college game day, and then we went to a couple different tailgating. So we met some of our friends, which they were cool. They had just a bunch of food. And dude, have you ever been to JMU?
No, I've been through it though, so I've been on the campus.
Dude, their campus.
So I guess my answer is yes.
To adequately answer your question, yes. Their campus is huge.
Yeah.
Like, is way bigger than I thought it was. Their gym, like we saw it when we were walking across the highway for like through one of the buildings, and their gym is huge. It's probably like 3 times the size Liberty's is. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. You think you'd be in their shape if you went there?
Dude, I'm in top physical condition in my life.
That's what I'm talking about.
No, I've actually side note. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, speaking about movies that people haven't seen, Liz and I might be splitting up because she got home from work today and asked me if I ever heard of a movie called Friday. I was like, are you kidding me? What do you mean have I ever heard of a movie called Friday? Of course I've seen Friday. I used to watch it on a weekly basis.
Oh, Liz. You need to have a talk with her.
I know. We're definitely gonna start. I gotta find that movie online like tonight, and we gotta watch that movie because I couldn't believe that she had never seen it. I was like, I've been making jokes about that movie probably since we've been friends, and you've just been laughing at my references, and you don't have any idea what I'm talking about.
Well, she's probably been tuning you out the whole time and just laughing at you.
Yeah, fair enough.
No, it was definitely a good weekend. We went to JMU. When we were heading up there, we were almost on campus. We came up to this light and I looked up and there was this camera and it reminded me of you. Whenever you and I used to drive, like when I would be driving and I would like happen to go through a red light, you'd like flip off the camera. Like,
oh yeah.
Like trying to get me in trouble, but whatever.
You gotta, make it worth whoever it is that has to go through those pictures and like make sure the person went through the red light. You gotta make it worth their time, give them something to laugh at.
Oh, for sure. One of the things that I still like tickles my brain to this day is like whenever you and I used to drive together, when I used to have that beater truck. Do you remember that Ford Ranger?
Yeah.
So not whenever, but occasionally you would like grab something of mine or throw it out the window on my side, so it would look like I would be throwing it out the window.
Oh yeah.
There was a time where Brittany and I were just driving and I threw a wrapper outside. She said, "Did you litter?" I said, "Yes, of course I did. I like to litter." But whatever.
Hood rat people do hood rat stuff. That's really what it comes down to.
I know, man. I can't hide who I am. You know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. If she doesn't accept you as for who you are, she doesn't deserve any of you.
That's what I'm talking about. And then I came back home, went to church, talked to Braden a little bit because he's coming up on Wednesday to DC. I think I told you that the other day, but I'm going out to DC this coming weekend on Friday.
Nice. Just for the weekend?
Actually, just for the night. Like him and his dad, they're going up there Wednesday through Saturday, like afternoon. So I'm only going up Friday through, Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But what about you? You going to go back to New York anytime soon?
No, we are, they're going to come down here right around for Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. And then for that gender reveal party. And then we can't get up for Christmas.
Quick. By the way, shout out to Kevin and Alyssa having a baby. Go ahead, say something.
Yeah, got a little gangster running around. Well, not yet, but it will be running around. Once it starts running around, if anyone wants a new baby, you let me know, because I can already tell I'm not going to be able to handle it.
Dude, I can't wait to send him letters like, hey, if you ever want to know something about your dad, just let me know.
Yeah, see, what's really not fair that I didn't think about till, having a kid or getting someone pregnant makes you think a little bit. No other generation before this one had to worry about everything they've ever done being documented online and attached to their own social media profile pages. And so I already I used to go through on a pretty regular basis and clean it up, like my Facebook, like delete stuff that I wrote that I should not have wrote when I was in high school, and like make sure I'm not tagged in any unflattering pictures. But now I'm like, man, this kid is going to have access to because I don't know about you, but growing up, I would Google my dad's name and try to find something on him, and there was never anything on him. But now my kid is going to have a plethora of information to pull from if they ever feel like not listening to me when I'm trying to yell at them. I'm going to be like, listen, man, you got to clean your room. They'll be like, bull crap, Dad. When you were 16, you said blah, blah. And I'll be like, oh, man, you're right.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, man.
Yeah, maybe I'll just change my name again, and that way the kid doesn't know what to try to find me as.
Well, in all fairness, I thought for at least a year when I first met you, do you remember I thought your last name was Kiliberto?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Pretty close. No, dude, I didn't tell you. I'm an official New Yorker now. Did I tell you why?
What's that?
So my supervisor at my work, his name's Mike. He's from Southside Jamaica, Queens, I think.
Okay.
He's like, yeah, man, you ever been up to New York? And I was like, no, I just may be okay with never going up to New York. And he was like, he's like, all right, you got to know a few things before you get there. He's like, but in all honesty, you can be out there for $48. I'm like, how'd you arrive at $48? And I was like, Mike, it may be a problem for me because I don't know sayings like, oh, you got to meet me at 107th and 58th. Like, I don't know sayings like that. And everything that he's told me, like where he's from, he's just saying, he's like, yeah, because he's a proud Dominican man, and he's super accent. He's like, all right, what you got to do when you get there? He's like, you got to have $48. I'm pretty sure he said 48. He's like, got to have $48. You got to have a small bottle of Hennessy in your back pocket. And I said, well, like, why do you need that? And he's just like, you just need it. He's like, you got to get you a Metro card. And I was like, okay. He's just like, yeah. And then when you're out there, you're just out there, I'm like, so you just go bananas? He's like, yeah. And I was like, so dude, I'm an official New Yorker, right? And he's like, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
You pretty much know everything you now need to know to fit in.
I mean, let's be honest, Long Island, not that special.
I will say that it is interesting, the difference between Long Island and Queens and Brooklyn and all the other, like, the actual city.
Yeah.
It is like staggeringly different. I remember one time me and my buddy we were actually hanging out in Brooklyn. We were at a hardcore show, and somehow, because we're idiots, we got lost when we left. So we got there probably like, 7 or 8, no big deal. And we were leaving, and it's like, probably 1 a.m. now. So we're walking around, and all of a sudden we're like, man, none of this looks familiar. So we're trying to figure out, all right, well, like, what do we do? Because we took the train to get in, and, now we can't find the train station. So I was like, all right, let's just, like, walk till we can find some sort of, like, major area and just ask somebody, where's the train station, and we'll, like, get there. Because we were, like, in a neighborhood. But, again, it's 1 a.m. It's not like there's people out. So we just start walking around. We don't even think of the fact, oh, yeah, we're, like, 2 white kids in Brooklyn at, like, 1 a.m. by ourselves. And so we're just, like, doing our own thing, cruising. And I was just like, oh, boy, we got to get out of here. And so we start, picking up the pace a little bit, trying to figure out, all right, like, where in the world do we have to move to just, like, get somewhere else? And all of a sudden this bus, the big public transportation bus drives by, and it says NS, which means it's like not running right now. It's not in service. It's the guy's done for the day. He's going back to the yard. And he just stops in the middle of the road by us. And he's like, what are you 2 white boys doing out here? I'm like, we are lost. And he's like, man, get on the bus. And so we just get on the bus. We are looking for, we're like train station to get back to like Long Island with the rest of our people that, and he's like, all right, man, I got you. And he drove us to the train station, dropped us off, and that's how we made it home. But if it wasn't for that dude driving the bus, I don't know if I would have made it home that day.
Well, we could only hope.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Never made it out to New York. I want to. There's a bus in Richmond you can take. I think it's called the China bus, but you can get to New York for like $30.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I am not concerned of how probably sketchy that bus is, but you can get there for $30.
Oh yeah, that's definitely sketchy because $30 is like less than what it would cost just to cross tolls to get to New York.
Yeah, for sure. There's 2 ways you can do. There's 2 buses. One of them, my supervisor, he's just like, yeah, you can go ahead and take this bus, and you just go down there, and you'll. And I was okay. I want a little more information. I'm like, I need to know when and where. And he showed me on a map. He's like, all right, just be here, and you gotta. And I'm like, okay, I still need to know like when and where,
Oh, man. No, man, you just got to go with it. That's how New Yorkers roll. You just got to pick it up and go with it, see where it takes you.
Dude, I'm from Virginia now. Like, I accept it.
You are more Virginian than you are Californian now.
I don't want to tell anyone that, but yeah, thanks, man.
You don't want to go to New York because you're just scared to see a city that would outclass every city that California has to offer. That's all.
But I'm okay with that. I'm not a classy gentleman.
Then you probably fit in New York.
Oh, 100%. You know how I know? I know that. I know that because I'm a New Yorker now, but I know you didn't know that.
That's right.
Because you're you're in Forest, Virginia. You're not even a New Yorker anymore.
That's right. I'm happy to not be a New Yorker anymore, though. That state's gone down the tank.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't ever want to move to New York or.
I will say, man, Strong Island does represent, though.
Yeah,
and all those UFC fighters, man, they're not. We might not have any more belts, but we're at least constantly in the heavy hitter section.
I know. I'm not even like 100% serious. There's Chris Weidman. Frank Edgar's from New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
What's his name? Ally Aquina, Matt Serra.
Yep.
Yep. All incredible fighters. So, but I wanted to talk to you and tell our people, how we met. So my perspective, how we originally met was at the gym. I've seen you a couple times before at the gym, if you remember. And then the only thing I remember is that we started training together. I don't even remember how we started hitting mitts and sparring, but that's how I think we met. Is that pretty close?
Yeah. So I had seen you around campus tons of times.
Course.
Because you were impossible to miss because you had a shaved head and you walked like a gorilla holding suitcases and you had these big giant white Dior sunglasses that you always wore.
Still got them.
And you only had one pair of gym shorts and they said want to fight on them, so you wore them every day.
Uh-huh. And
so you were impossible to miss walking around campus. So I remember I saw you, and my first thought was, oh, what a loser. And you had the shorts that said want to fight, and I don't remember who, but I know I told somebody, I was like, man, I do want to fight. And I was like, I'm sure he would whoop my tail, but I just want to, I feel like it's my duty to try to put a stop to this kid walking around campus like that. But then at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is where I think I first spoke to you, because you showed up one night and I'd been going for just a little while, and you had boxing gloves tied up to your bag, and I wanted to get a little bit more mitt work in and glove work in, but none of the people that I was friends with did any stand-up. They all just did jiu-jitsu. So I think I went up and asked if you, I was like, oh man, are you you've been are you a fighter? And you were like, oh yeah. And I was like, oh, well, if you ever want to work out hit mitts, man, let me know. And I think that's where it started off.
Oh, gotcha. Now, I don't remember. I mean, I remember going to jiu-jitsu, but I don't remember meeting at jiu-jitsu. I just remember somehow meeting at the gym, and then we started working out in the upstairs gym and then hitting mitts, and then we acquired a guy named JD, if you remember him.
Oh, yeah.
And then, he was a character. He was full of, in a nice way, he's full of life,
Yeah, that's right.
And then...
Yeah, that's right. Okay, I think I remember it more now.
And then we had Tyler. So I know you remember because you're a part of this. So him and JD, they were training with us. We were doing rounds. I just wanted to have more guys with us. So because I don't know if I had a fight lined up, but I eventually fought and we were training to fight. You remember?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
So after, I don't know, a month or so, I think, or a couple months, we were at the weigh-ins for my fight. I'm pretty sure it was at the weigh-ins. And I said, hey, Tyler, I got to call you out, man. Do you remember this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh.
So I was like, hey, man, I was like, man, I got to call you out. He's like, okay. And, it was just us and probably two other people, I think. I'm not sure, but just a couple people there. And I was like, you said you had a couple fights under your belt, which is great. I think that's awesome. But there's no record of you anywhere. So, can you shed some light on that? And that, I'm just paraphrasing kind of, but he was just like, oh, well, I had, I fought in a cage before. And I was like, was it a sanctioned event? And he's like, well, no, it was at my gym. And then you were like, yeah, so, okay, well, I'm 107 and 24 or something.
That's right. Yeah. So I remember this because me and him had talked about his, quote, fights in the past, just, I guess, separately from you and him talking about him. So you said, we're at B-Dubs, and again, at this point, we had known him for months and months and months. And when you work out and train with somebody, you get to know him really, really closely, because you're just, trying to lay it all out there, and you're getting dog tired, and you're really just giving it all you got. So you're really you get to know somebody for real. And so we're sitting there, and you were like, Tyler, you told me that you were, and I think you said 6-0, and he was just like, oh yeah, and then you had the whole conversation with him, and you're like, well, there's no record of you. And he's like, well, I fought in a cage before, but I'm 6-0 in like whatever. I forgot what he said exactly. And I was like, Tyler, you told me you were 8. I think it was 8-0. But I just remember it was a different number than what he told you. Mm-hmm. And I was like, so what's that about? And he's like, well, let's just say 8-0 in backyard fights. I was like, backyard fights? I was like, I'm 112-17 in backyard fights. Who gives a crap about backyard fights, man? It was just the funniest thing. I was like, I felt it was a good thing that it wasn't me going into a fight like that next day, because if I had been training with this dude this whole time and like working on the premise that he's been in the cage before and he's done it and he's been successful 8 times, and then I find out the night before that I got a fight that he's never actually been in a fight, probably never even been punched like for real in an actual competitive setting other than just training. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. I would have quit right there. I would have felt so lied to and cheated. I couldn't believe it when he said that. I was like, oh my goodness, man.
Yeah, so I remember like when we were like hitting mitts with him and he was, training with us, I was like, okay, he's, kind of sloppy. I mean, I don't have I'm not very technically sound, but you could tell there's like there was a pretty big, not a pretty big difference, but there was a difference between like him and I or you and I and him. So I was like, something just didn't seem right. So that's when I started Googling him. I didn't find him anywhere because he was nowhere at the time.
Oh man. Yeah, that was the funniest thing. I just don't understand how you're going to like try to hang out with dudes that are at least willing to like throw down, like, get after it. And you're just going to like straight up fake it till you make it, just lie your way in, try to just like clearly just try to be associated with everybody and look like a part of the crowd and not actually have done anything.
Yeah, dude, I'm not going to say his last name. He's never going to hear this, but he was like, yeah, so the promoter reached out to me, and I was like, how would he, like, in my head, I'm like, how is he going to reach out to you? You've never talked to him. You've never seen him. You're not a fighter. Like, you don't go to a gym. Like, none of this makes sense to me. So you became my corner man. We were hitting together, funny. And then, in the last 2 episodes ago, you and I, we talked about the fight. Didn't go 100% the way we wanted it, but, it is what it is.
Yeah, hey, I do have a question about that. What do you think it would have taken for you to been like a more successful amateur fighter? I'm not trying to say that to be a jerk. I'm just, would it be like, what is it that separates low-level amateur fighters from like high-level amateur fighters?
Well, me being a low-level fighter, I would say training camp, the people that you surround yourself with. Like, you and I did the best with what we could, and we trained as much as we could, but it was just you and I and subpar guys. And we would go to jiu-jitsu class and we'd have our own little sessions and stuff, and it was great. We did the best with what we could, but I don't know. I guess it could be a number of things, but probably just the gym that you're in and the people you surround yourself with,
Yeah, that's what I would think too. I was trying to figure it out, and if you were going to tell somebody who was looking to get into the game and be successful, what would you like? What is going to give them the best chance at being successful, in that sport? And I think that would be the biggest thing I would come up with was you can do a little bit on your own and you can like give it your best shot. Like Rich Franklin. That dude trained in a shed in his backyard and made it to the UFC. Mm-hmm. But I think you really need to get yourself in like a reputable gym and like part of a legit camp to really like pick it up and be successful. I think it's just gotten like more competitive across the board. I think that's like really what has to happen.
Oh, for sure. Like, it costs a lot of money to go to a gym and pay for your management. So
that's right.
If someone's asking you what they should do, they should get in touch with us and we'll train them and they'll be the heavyweight champion of the world.
That's right. Yeah. They're going to get a mean left hook, and that's really all they need.
That's all they need, because that's all I got to give.
That's right. Oh, man, I do have to tell you, so my buddy that I've been working with for his fight, my coworker, he came in today. He wasn't at work yesterday, and we had the past week off. So I saw him today, and I was telling him, I was like, oh yeah, I found my good mouth guard, so I'm ready to like really like pick up our sparring and everything. So he's like, oh dude, my buddy backed out of the fight.
What?
I was like, what? Yeah. He said he was telling his friends that he backed out because he hadn't had a chance to get to the gym, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm just out of shape right now, blah blah blah. And my buddy was like, man, he's been playing basketball every night. He's not out of shape. He's just running.
Yeah, man, that sucks because I was waiting to hear if and when that was going to go down, but man, that sucks.
Yeah, I'm so bummed. He was really getting after it. He was really putting it together. I don't know I bet what happened is that he probably showed a video of us sparring or of like us doing mitt drills or something to his friend. And so then his friend saw it and probably like backed out after seeing him like, oh man, he's like actually like pretty legit with this,
Man, yeah, that sucks, dude. Are you still gonna hit mitts and mess around, or not mess around, but like train with your buddy?
I hope so. I want to keep it up. It felt good to get back into it and like, throw punches and even just like get hit in the face a little bit and hit somebody else in the face a little bit. It was a lot of fun. So I hope he's down to keep it up just to get a workout in. Yeah,
for sure. I could definitely say that out of all my friends, you and I have had the most fights together. I mean, like fighting together, like against each other.
Right.
So after we trained, all the time, then we moved in together, and we didn't really do anything like fighting when we lived together for 2 years. But after that, and then you got married, and then or you're getting ready to get married, you had your bachelor party. So one of the biggest things I remember, and I'm gonna show a pic, but. I know you remember, but on the night of your bachelor party, when all the groomsmen got back to the house, do you remember when you and I threw down a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So in one of the groomsmen photos, you can see my eye, which has a scab over it from the night. So long story short, Kevin and I, he looked at me wrong, so we squared up. It was, and so we started going at it, but I wasn't going to punch him in his face because he was getting married the next day, whatever. I was trying to be somewhat nice, and then I was throwing body shots, and somehow he probably took me down, and we ended up on the ground, and then all I remember is I got a big punch in the face, and I thought I was sweating, and then someone was like, oh, or I don't remember exactly, but then I was definitely like dripping in blood.
Oh man, yeah, I remember we started out wrestling, and I think I got a sweep, if I'm gonna go ahead and toot my own horn, and I ended up in your guard. Mm-hmm. And so we were still just wrestling at the time, and you probably just went to like pull my head down, mm-hmm. and like swung your hand up and hit me in the side of the head.
Good.
And in my mind at the moment, I was like, oh, he's hitting me. Cool. I was like, all right, we're just going from like just wrestling now to like boxing or whatever, like the whole thing. And so I just balled up a fist, put my head like right down in your chest and threw like it from in your guard, just threw like an overhand. I don't know if it was like a right or a left. And I just heard everybody else go, oh. And I was like, uh-oh, like maybe I'm misinterpreting what's going on right now. And then after talking to everybody, they were like, yeah, Dan was like rolling around just like a little kid who didn't care, was just trying to have fun, and all of a sudden Kevin balls up his fist, throws a haymaker on him. I was like, whoops.
No, I was later that night, or I know you and I took a photo when I was like dripping in blood, but I sent that photo to, I think, Erica, and she was like, oh my gosh, what are you guys doing?
Oh man, that was so much fun.
You and I've thrown down just at like random times. Like another time was at Jordan's bachelor party. Like no, it happened twice at Jordan's bachelor party, if I'm not wrong. So the first time when we were leaving Jordan's house, you remember this?
I don't think so.
Okay, well I remember it clearly because I got uppercutted in the face like 10 times. So you and I were walking out, and you looked at me wrong, and you started to take off your hat. So I was like, okay, well, it's going to go down, so let me just take off my nice hat. So I set it on the car, and then I tried bull rushing you, and I don't know if you slammed me against the car or I slammed you, but then I shot in a little more, and you grabbed my head like bulldogged me and just like uppercutting my face. I was like, ow. You don't remember this?
Oh, man. I don't remember this part. I remember the later part of Jordan's bachelor party outside of Bird Theater.
Oh, yeah, that was great, dude. I don't know who took that photo. I think it was Tommy. That photo, you remember the photo that I posted? That photo is sweet.
Yeah, that's like one of the best pictures. My sister saw it for the last podcast that we did. I think you posted it.
Yeah.
And she didn't know, like, because it's kind of like that perfect blurry like mid action shot.
Yeah.
So she was just like, I think that's Kevin. I think that's Kevin and Dan. Why would they? So she was like talking. She's like, why did you guys fight? I was like, Kirsten, Dan and I have fought dozens of times. We're just roughhousing. It's not like we're fighting. It's so funny. But yeah, that's why, at a bachelor party, there are certain events that are supposed to take place so that way everybody has a good story to go home and tell their buddies about later. And so if people, I think I remember at Jordan's party, I think we were trying to start fights with other people and nobody would oblige. And so I was like, well, we can't just not get in a fight. It's a bachelor party, someone's got to fight somebody. So, but I also remember just like random people walking around like, yeah, that probably made people's night. There's nothing more fun than just watching a street fight break out.
Oh, for sure. I remember in that photo, like we're wearing like dress up shirts and like boat shoes.
That's right. Yeah, I also remember we didn't really train a whole lot when we lived together, but we definitely did a lot of wrestling and like, looking at each other wrong.
No, I remember like, wrestling because you're obviously but for the people that don't know, Kevin is a wrestling coach. So whenever he would like come home, he would show me something or I'd ask him something like a sweep or a roll or something. He'd always get the better of me, but that's neither here nor there. No, that apartment was good. We were on the second story. So the guy that was below us, do you remember the guy? The guy was huge.
Yeah, he was a big dude.
He definitely like received the noise end of it. Like he never complained once. He was, and he had a kid below, but we were like stomping around. Do you remember when Jay and I think it was Jordan there when we were playing airsoft and like diving over the couches and stuff?
Corey. It was you, me, Jay, and Corey. Yeah, I don't know how the police didn't get called with just the straight amount of noise we were making in that. Because it's a small apartment. It was like one of those just, there's 2 apartments upstairs and 2 downstairs. So if you're loud enough, you can hear what any other apartment is doing. And we went out and bought some like little airsoft guns from Walmart. Mm-hmm. And we were just literally just playing like airsoft in the apartment. And it was really loud and really destructive.
No, it was good. The guy never complained once. I don't know how. Like, if I hear, like, in my old apartment I used to live, if I would hear just, like, one noise, I'd send a heavy email. Ugh.
That's right. Hey, man, you got to let them know. There's winners and there's losers. The one that makes the noise. I don't have to listen to the noise.
Oh, for sure. No, that guy was good. This episode is brought to you by podcastgarden.com for all your podcasting hosting needs. Just in case you want to have a podcast like this that is going to be super successful, go ahead and check out podcastgarden.com. It'll help you link it to iTunes and the Google Play. So go ahead and check it out. So, all right, Kevin. Anything you want to say? Actually, let's retract that. What is one thing you want to say to our listeners? I want to hear one legit thing.
One legit thing to our listeners. Oh man, put me on the spot. I was not ready for an end of the podcast statement that I get to make. Oh man, I don't know. I guess I would just say keep listening, share with your friends. If you guys have any things you want to know about, any other stories, let us know.
All right. Well, my thing is shout out to your wife for holding this baby that is going to be way better looking than you are.
Hey, I think I deserve a little bit of credit for that too.
A little bit, but she is, she's awesome, and you are right. But no, yeah, definitely shout out to both you guys for having this baby on the way. I'm actually really excited for you guys. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, this is another episode of the Weekly Hangover. Cheers.